Welcome everyone to the MAS Mentee Orientation and Networking session. We are recording this session and I will share it following today's orientation. All right, so my name is Emily Pavlik. I am the Student Programs Coordinator at SACNAS, and today I am joined by the SACNAS Executive Director, Juan Amador. He will be joining us in just a few minutes to say a few words. But before we get started, I want to begin by giving a land acknowledgement. SACNAS is a fully inclusive organization dedicated to achieving true diversity in STEM. As the nation's largest multicultural and multidisciplinary STEM diversity organization, SACNAS creates space where all members, volunteers, and partners feel they belong and can embrace their intersectional identities. SACNAS is based out of California, which is the original homelands to over 200 tribal nations, bands, and rancherias of Native American Indigenous people. And we'd like to take this time to acknowledge the original caretakers of the land which we all live and work, and honor the rich culture of the Indigenous people across the country. In a moment, I'll drop in the chat a link to the a website, nativeland.ca, where you can find out yourself about the lands that you reside. Today's webinar is to prepare you, of course, for the SACNAS MAS Spring Cohort. We'll review the program schedule, hear from Juan, answer questions, and give you the opportunity to network with your peers. And I mentioned this at the beginning, but if you have any questions, please do save those for the Q&A at the end. If you have them now and you want to drop them in the chat so you don't forget, that's totally fine. And I'll make sure to kind of check that chat out so that we can go back at the during the Q&A portion. And without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Juan to welcome you, and I'll share the value of mentorship with everyone.
Sure. Thank you, Emily. Thank you for inviting me. If you could go to the next slide, please, and I can get started on there. First of all, I want to say congratulations to each and every one of you all for getting accepted to our mentoring program. We are delighted to have you participate. And so I have maybe about 4 points that I want to make today and to share with you. And so I'm a big visual learner also. So I found this graphic because what I wanted to do today is really focus on maybe 4 points that I wish someone would have told me. And so long ago, when I was a student, I didn't have a mentor. And so I didn't know what a mentor was. And so my first point is that I'm a product of mentoring. Over my professional career and my individual and personal life, I've always had mentors. And it was a process. It was a journey. Some of them were really formal, where I had to apply and really write essays of what my goals were. Others were more of like, maybe we can work together. Others were more in terms of a peer group. And so as you embark on this journey, I want you to do some self-reflection. Think about why you applied. Be critical. Be critical, because then you should write down, what are your goals for mentoring? So you could be very clear when you meet your mentor that these are my goals. I have 1, 2, 3, or as many as you outline for yourself. And you've done that self-reflection to say, this is what I need help with. That way you're very clear. And then your mentor understands the type of help that you're requesting, the type of support and guidance that you need from him or her. We at SACNAS always celebrate science, culture, and community. And so think about how those goals align with your personal goals. Do you need mentoring because you want to do research, or you're in math and you need some advice on how to be, the next professor in math, or you are in engineering and you want to go, to a graduate program where you're not sure how to get there. You get to determine what the value of this mentoring experience is. You get to decide, because you're doing all this reflection, you're doing all this planning, and you'll be clearly communicating this when you meet your mentor. So point number 2, when you do meet that mentor, I think it's key for you and your mentor to discuss, how are you going to communicate? Is it going to be on a regular basis, once a month, every other week? Also, talk about, are we emailing each other? Are we just setting up calls? Are we meeting by Zoom? Is there another way you would like for me to communicate? The reason why I share this with you is because part of this journey means you have to come prepared when you meet your mentor. And so always have one or two questions that you want answered, you want guidance on, or decide if you want to dedicate your time on one particular issue or barrier or something that you need advice on. So that way you spend that dedicated time getting the guidance that you need. Our mentors went through an application process just like you. They come from our community and they hold a lot of experience, knowledge, and most important, and most of all, they want to help you. They want to help you succeed in your undergraduate, your graduate, your career, in academia, in whatever opportunity you need help with. My third point, remember, I started with self-reflection. So part of that will mean that you're going to receive some feedback from our mentors. You're going to receive feedback that may be positive and some feedback that where you need to make improvements. And that's very important for you to be open to that. When someone gives you guidance about improvement, it's not only receiving it, but the key for me and the key that I have learned and why I want to share is the follow through. If someone gives you that advice and guidance, how are you going to implement it? How are you going to follow up? How are you going to complete it? How are you going to share with your mentor? You know, you gave me that advice. And now I took a communication class and I'm much better at speaking, public speaking. You know, can I practice with you? You know, what points do I need to make when I present a poster? What points should I, if no one's asking me questions, what should I do? You know, that is key for you to do. Follow through. You can always share your successes. It's not just sharing like your barriers or obstacles, but you got that exam, you aced it, you did that presentation, you rocked it. You know, you got some guidance in terms of building your network and you followed up and someone connected with you. You can share with your mentors the positive that they are making upon you. And I always like to say, when someone makes an impact on you, not only do they do it for you, but they do it for the entire community. My fourth point is, through this journey, you're developing a relationship. It's not just a one-time, once a month, twice a month, 3 months. It is a lifetime relationship. So my first mentor, when I was an undergraduate, she recently just passed away, and I get to celebrate her because I still remember the time she said, you know, open up your mind to the global world. And I was like, what does that mean? You know, travel international, go visit different places. I've had other mentors where they're like, you know, Juan, you need to come to these meetings, and they start at 7:30 every Monday. And if you come to these meetings from 7:30 to 8 in the morning, you get to hear how our leadership is thinking. You get to hear our guests interact, and guest meaning from NIH, National Science Foundation, other health professions, other STEM related organizations. I had mentors who said, you need to take a risk. You're comfortable. And now we want you to do this. We want you to stretch yourself. And so as you build your relationship with your mentor, help them learn about you, help them learn about your community, help them learn about the impact that they're making on you, because it is a relationship for life. So how am I going to close? I want you to know, as you look at this diagram, it's important for me to invite you to stay connected to SACNAS. So Emily, next slide, please. SACNAS is your home. I see this as your lifetime home. In the good, the bad, you may come, you may go. Our hope is you stay with us for quite a while. You connect with us. You know, We're all on social media. But the reason I'm asking you to connect is because we depend on you to tell your stories. How are you succeeding? What type of impact did this program make for you and your community? How did your mentor help you? What was the benefit of having a mentor? You can share. There's X, there's TikTok, Instagram. If you're involved in the chapter, we have a chapter Instagram. You want to connect and open up your network, there's LinkedIn. And so stay connected to us. And equally as important, if you face a barrier and you're not comfortable talking or you just need some help, please reach out to Emily. Please reach out to SACNA staff. You're not alone. We've gone through this journey. We want to help you and we want to help you succeed in your journey. So thank you for letting me share some comments. Emily, back to you.
Thank you. Awesome. And before we let Juan go, can we just get a virtual round of applause for him? Thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your invaluable experiences and everything. We really appreciate you joining us. Thank you. Thank you. And Juan, of course, you do not have to stay for the duration of the orientation, but thank you. Thank you again. Awesome. Well, we're going to kind of shift gears now. We're going to go through the cohort program. By now, you guys have all received your mentee guides. And I know some of you were just notified just yesterday that you were accepted to the program. So understandable if you haven't had the opportunity yet to fully sift through that. I'm hoping we'll be able to cover some of those topics today, go through those questions. And then, of course, I strongly encourage you to refer back to that guide once the meeting is over for today. Your matches, who your mentors are, will be sent to you this Monday, the 12th of February. So just a few days away, you'll find out who your assigned mentor is. Right here on this slide, you'll see kind of the breakdown for the program schedule, which has some suggested meeting times. On Monday, when you receive your mentor match, that is going to be when you kickstart and initiate that first meeting. And we'll go over some of that information in just a moment. But we suggest that first meeting be next week. And then you'll see that it's kind of on a bi-weekly schedule after that, so that there's some regularity with when you're checking in with your mentor. Ultimately, you should be meeting with your mentor at least 2 times per month. One of these meetings needs to be a video call and the other can be an email check-in. Like Juan said, like once you are meeting with your mentor, you'll kind of have a better sense of what is going to work best for your schedule, what's going to work best for theirs, but there has to be at least one video call per month. We really prefer those video calls over the email because that kind of just gets you a little bit more engaged with the process. And we want to ensure that you're getting the most out of this experience too. And ultimately, it's up to you and your mentor if you choose to meet more. If you feel like, you know what, this bi-weekly schedule isn't working for me, I'd really like to meet on a weekly basis, even if it's just for 15 minutes, just a quick, hey, how are you? Or an email. Check in with your mentor, see what works for them. But really, this is the basis for how your meetings should be. You can ultimately meet more if you and your mentor do agree on it. And then midway through the program, you'll see on March 25th, we have a deadline to complete a mid-event survey. This is the opportunity for you to tell me how things are going, how the program is going for you. You know, what are you gaining from this? And if there are any crucial things that you really need, this is when you get to tell me kind of that information. You, of course, can reach out to me at any time, like Juan said, but this mid-event survey really gives us kind of the information that we need to see how things are going for you about 6 weeks in. And then finally, at the end of the cohort, May 6th is kind of that last week of when you'll be meeting with your mentor. You'll receive one more survey, a post-event survey, so that we can get kind of the larger picture of how everything went for you. And that will be due by the 17th of May. So initiating that first meeting with your mentor. For those of you who've had the opportunity to go through the guide, you'll see that we provided you with a sample email. And you can use this email to, make that initial contact with your mentor, provide a couple of meeting times. Remember to present yourself professionally, both via email and then in virtual person, I guess, when you're having that first meeting. What we like to have you keep in mind is you never know where this relationship could go. This mentor could be your future boss or a colleague, or you may want to use them for a professional reference in the future, but kind of maintaining that professionalism, presenting yourself well, is what we strongly recommend. And then also respect your mentor's time. Keep open communication. If you guys schedule a meeting and then something happens, you have to make up a test, you are sick, whatever it may be, don't ghost your mentor. Just tell them that, I can't make it today. Can we please reschedule for X, Y, or Z? It's okay. Mistakes are going to be made, and it's not an issue. They understand this. And as long as you guys are keeping that open flow of communication going, you should be fine. Try to be prepared for that first meeting. Have your goals identified ahead of time. Just like Juan said, what we're really hoping for you is that you have kind of like a goal priority list per se. So maybe that's getting into grad school, or maybe that's applying for 3 jobs in industry. Whatever that goal is, whatever that major goal is, make sure you're coming prepared to share it with your mentor at that first meeting. What are you hoping to achieve? Also, try to keep all of that in mind, both with your goals and then with your relationship with your mentor. What is achievable for you? And then, like Juan said too, have at least 3 questions for your mentor. So a couple of examples here could be, what was your major? How does it relate to your work and career path? Can you tell me how you started in your career? How did you attain your current position? And what skills do I need to obtain before I graduate? Remember to always be respectful, listen, grow, and be accountable. These are the MAS norms or values that we follow. And then finally, we included in the guide for a specific conversation topic by meeting. So this is going to help keep you and your mentor on track with achieving those goals. So like for the first week, you're getting to know your mentor, you're sharing what that primary goal is, and you're kind of sharing the steps that you've taken already, maybe. But then by that next meeting, you're sharing with them, okay, these were the steps that I took. Now here's a timeline that I'm kind of envisioning for how things need to go. Maybe it's, I need a letter of recommendation by this date, or I need to have my resume revised and completed by this date. Whatever it is, ultimately, you're going to operationalize that with your mentor, and then have this kind of guide to help you on a check-in by check-in basis for how these conversations can be going. Now, if you have any questions or concerns, like you don't hear from your mentor within 3 to 5 days after next Monday, contact me. If any issues arise at any given point, a conflict happens with your mentor, you guys, are just not seeing eye to eye. This doesn't happen often, but in the event that it does, contact me. Don't hesitate. I'm here to help you. And we want to make sure that you're getting the most out of this program. And I can only help you if you let me know what's going on. All right. Now, without further ado, we are going to move on to our Q&A portion for today. Feel free, if you want, you can come on screen. We don't have to be shy now. This is the opportunity for everybody to kind of ask their questions. If anything that's like, programmatic that you want to know, or just questions about what to expect from the mentorship process in general, this is your opportunity. You can drop them in the chat. I also think there's like a hand raising feature. You're welcome to do that as well. Yeah, it's an open floor now. I will be amazed if there are no questions. Truly, I will consider my job well done if there are no questions. That means I put everything in the mentee guides, and that must mean everybody's read them so well then, right?
Hi, I do have a question actually.
Perfect.
Sorry if this has already been answered already. I just got out of work, so it was a little hard to hear everything. But I was curious about the mentors, whether they were mostly grad students, or if they're like professionals in their field. Like what's the range of I guess a position for mentors?
That's a great question. So we have mentors ranging from postdocs to mid-career to senior career professionals. So for this cohort, we wanted to keep it with individuals who have already either completed their degree, whether it's a master's degree or a PhD. So I guess we do have some like postgrads who are not in their postdoc, but yeah, it's typically individuals who have already completed their academic journey and are moving on to the next step in their career or in whatever it is that they want to do next. But those who've had kind of some lived experience for sure. Cool.
Okay.
I think
Thank you.
Agatha, if you want to go next.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, my question is, were the matching with mentors a random process, or did you guys take in consideration like common interest or profession, anything like that?
That's a great question. So the matching is not done at random by any means. We take a look at the disciplines that you are in, that you are all in, and the disciplines that the mentors are in, and we try to make the best match with, typically it's discipline as the basis, but then matched goals after that. So I don't know if you remember in the application process, you could select like up to 3 things, like maybe that's applying for graduate school, graduate fellowship programs, interview preparation, resume, CV feedback, all that sort of stuff. So we took what you entered there and then what the mentor entered in their application as areas that they feel comfortable providing mentorship in. And we made the match with that coupled with discipline information. So some of you are going to find that your mentor is like the exact match in your discipline. And then some you're going to find, you know what, I'm in, I don't know, general chemistry, but my mentor's in organic chemistry. So it'll be, you know, like that, kind of as close as we possibly could get it with both discipline and academic/career goals, if that makes sense.
I see. Yes. So it is our responsibility to chat and get to know each other, and in the process figure out what are the things that we have in common. And
Yeah, and they should.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll have an orientation just like you guys. Starting tomorrow, actually, they'll get their orientation, and they are advised to help facilitate the conversation too, right? It's a two-way street. So you guys are not, the onus isn't entirely on you to be you know, asking the questions and making the communication. I'm not expecting at all for your mentor to just like sit there in silence as you're sharing your story. They shouldn't be at all. They should be engaged in the process just like you are. So they know to be asking you questions just like you're asking them questions. So yeah, you guys, we're hopeful that you guys will be able to get to know each other very quickly. Awesome. Daniel?
Thank you.
Of course.
Oh, thank you. I have more like a technical schedule question. Like,
Yeah.
we need to meet with the advisors or with the mentors 2 times per month. We need to like take any evidence of these meetings to share with you guys, or
no, not necessarily. No, we're not going to require you to like prove to us that you guys met twice a month. That's, I mean, ultimately it's on you. So if and your mentor. So if you are getting ghosted by your mentor too, like on the other side of it, if you're showing up to meetings and your mentor's not showing up to meetings, let me know. Really, like, I think the only way that I guess there would be evidence for me is if your mentor's not coming, and then you would tell me in that case. But no, we don't require you guys to like prove to us at all that you're meeting that much. And like I said, if your schedule is crazy, if you have a very busy schedule and you're like, I really can only meet virtually with these video calls once, and then the other one has to be emailed, that's okay. That's totally okay. Our preference for you is that you're getting more of that like face-to-face, but we know you're busy. So we understand.
Thank you.
Of course. Awesome. Any other questions? Please don't be shy. We have a little bit more time before we move on to the networking portion. We'll give it another moment, let things percolate in case anybody has anything else. Also, it's very cool. I recognize a few of your names. I know some of you have been research presenters or travel scholars over the last few years. It's very cool to see you coming back for another program with SACNAS. Thank you. Okay, well, if there are no other questions, and of course, like, you know, if you've questions that come up for you later, I'm always just an email away. We can move on then to the networking session. So I'm going to break y'all out into some rooms in just a moment. I'm going to make you do an icebreaker, which I know everybody loves so much. We'll have 5 minutes at the beginning for that icebreaker. Try to keep this quick. I did set aside, I mean, we have like an hour left of this session. And if we don't have to take the entirety of it, that's fine with me. It's up to you guys. But I set aside like 40 minutes for 40 minutes for that networking activity. We'll come back at the end and just check in because I have a fun announcement to share after the networking activity is over. But if you guys just want to take like 5 minutes at the beginning to do that icebreaker, share where you're from, what your major or area of interest is, or like what, if you're applying for a job in industry or looking to apply for a job in industry, what field are you going into? And then also, what is your favorite comfort food? And then next, what are you hoping to gain from the MAS program? Have you ever received mentorship before outside of this at your institutions or in another form? And then also what brought you to the program? And then finally, I want you to take the space to imagine you're in that first meeting with your mentor. What is the first goal that you want to articulate in the meeting? So we'll do 20 minutes for the what are you hoping to gain, and then about 10 minutes for the end. I want to share the fun announcement at the end here before I let you all leave. We are launching a Slack channel for you all to stay in contact with each other. I'm going to send that out to you on Monday or by Monday. My goal is by end of this week, really, but Monday at the latest when you get your match information so that you all can keep the conversation going. If you're running into like any, kind of common themes as you're experiencing mentorship for the first time that you want to connect with your fellow mentees about, that's a great space to do it. Or if you're looking for tips and advice from your fellow mentees, like on engaging your mentor on, a variety of other topics aside from what you're already working on, this is a really great space for you guys to all connect. So I'll share the link to that with everyone on or by Monday, like I said. And as I mentioned, if anything comes up for you across in any point of the program, start, finish, middle, whatever it is, I'm always just an email or a phone call away. You'll get the information from today's orientation, and in my signature in that email, you'll see my phone number as well. So like I said, really just an email or a phone call away. Thank you all so much for joining today's orientation, for getting yourselves prepared. This is an awesome step of taking hold of your future, and you're on the right track. So thank you all again. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and we will talk soon.